Hello and welcome to Eddie V Live. This is the Eddie V Live show, and I am your host, Eddie V. I'm realizing how many times I say Eddie V in the beginning. I got to change that somehow, some way, but we're live. So now, right now, I'm happy to be with you here tonight on Monday of this third week of Easter. The third week of Easter. Hope Easter is still going strong for you. Before we get into it, I have a couple of brief announcements. First, you probably noticed that I was not here Friday. I'm thinking of scaling back. I'm thinking of doing Monday through Thursday. Hopefully, this isn't a trend, but Monday through Thursday sounds chill to me. Give people a break, over the weekend, Friday night, Saturday night. We'll see how we feel about it. I do love to talk. I do love to talk about all sorts of things, but I think if we do Monday through Thursday, we will survive. Let me know what you think about that. Let me know if you hate that or you love that or you're indifferent. For sure. That's the first announcement. The second announcement is that we hit 10 subs. I don't know if I'm supposed to celebrate that. It's not really that many subs, but YouTube gave me a trophy. So I felt very good about that. 10 subs, little virtual trophy, a little cute trophy. So if you're one of those, thank you. If you're not, to become one of those. I was I was just thinking about how it doesn't even matter how many subs someone gets, that just there's not enough subs that people will be satisfied with. I want you to know that I have 10 subs. I'll be happy with 10. I'll be happy with 10,000, hopefully. I know there's a little part of me that's like, I want all the subs and all the views. But no, I do just enjoy talking to myself in this room. So I will keep going as long as God wants me to. As long as I have draw breath and I don't feel like I'm wasting my time and God's not telling me to do something else. No matter the subs, but I do appreciate the 10 subs. I wanted to let people know that. We did get a little trophy from YouTube. It's a virtual trophy. It's not physical. It's not material. It's not here with me. I have a pen, a notebook, no trophy, but we did hit 10 subs. That's the two announcements I have. I do want to get into the show. Today, I was just thinking, I'm always thinking, I'm even at work and I'm thinking about the show. It helps keep the mind grooving. Sometimes you're in those jobs where it can be very taxing on the human mind in terms of, I don't know if I want to go that far, but I do enjoy thinking about what I'm going to talk about for the show. Today, I was thinking about the way people think. And there were some specific ones I was thinking about, but you could probably think of 1,000, and maybe with yourself. I know with myself, I've thought of some of them, and let me give some examples of what I'm talking about. And this is just what I feel like with these ways people think, and maybe you disagree. Like one of them I've been seeing a lot, and I've seen it before too. I was probably, you could argue I was like into this in college, but like people, like they're like the travel people. They're like their happiness or their like motive in life is to travel. And they're like, I like to travel. And it's like my hobby. I work to travel, these people. And I just think it's kind of painful. Like if you're actually, I mean, the actual act of traveling is I'm indifferent to. Sometimes plane rides can be rough. Sometimes they can be fun, I guess, depending on who you're with. And going places like I love Europe, so I guess traveling there is fun. But like when you're like one of your center points in life is just travel in general. I see this with a lot of women. Not to hate on the women. I see this a lot with the women. You'll see and when I was in college, it was like, oh, I'm in Bari. Is this mic working? Oh my goodness. I think it is. Let me back it up a little bit. Hello? Hello? I really hope this is working. If it's not, I'm sorry. But you'll see like these women, like, and especially when I was in college, I had like an Instagram and stuff. They're just, pictures in this beach and that beach. I'm like, I don't even know how you afford to do all this stuff. And I'm also thinking we have the technology now and maybe even the type of society where like a woman can work in that way and try like airplanes, for example. Like this way of thinking, like travel is my happiness. I don't even think that would be possible. Like what? Like 50 years ago, maybe 60. What year are we in? Maybe even further back than that. Call it 100 years ago. Imagine if you were a woman in America and you were like, the only thing that's going to make me happy is travel. Like it wouldn't even work. It's such a new thing. Yeah, and I think of like Saint Therese of Lisieux. It's like imagine if she thought she was like travel is what makes me happy. It's like this woman was happier than you are, and she didn't leave. Like I don't even know how big that common is. She didn't leave like a building complex for most of her adult life. It's kind of crazy to think about. What else? I was thinking about people because people are all, they always want to be in relationships. I want to be in relationships. Everyone wants to date people. But like the people that aren't happy without someone, they'll say things like, I can't live without you. Or maybe if you watch like a rom-com, someone says like, I can't live without you. Like think of what that person is saying. They wouldn't be able to live without a specific person that they're not, I mean, married people, whatever, but like you're dating someone and so like you're dating, so imagine you're dating someone and they say, I can't live without you. And I know no one thinks this because it's just like a sappy romance thing. But like, is that person fun to be around? Like, imagine you're not the person. You're not the person that they can't live without. And you're hanging out with them. How does that person act? Like, how are they going about their business in life? You can't live without them. Like, there's got to be some sort of concept, even in like a secular way, an agnostic way, where you understand, like, if you can't sit alone with yourself or with God for an extended period of time, you're probably going to not be a fun person to be around. And I feel like we've all experienced these people where, and I'm not saying I'm not that person. Maybe this is all just really mean. But like they can't just hang out. They're always texting the boyfriend, the girlfriend, always talking about them. Like they actually can't live without them. They would die. They would die if they weren't out without them. I guess, not to be too crude, but like people do kill themselves over stuff like this. It's kind of sad. But just that way of thinking. And I guess this all has to do with like the passions and stuff. Like if you let the passions get out of control, whether it's lust, it's got to be something. It can't just be like that person's so great, right? I know some of the saints, they like really love like a saintly person. They're really sad when they're gone. So maybe there's something. Maybe there's something to that. Like, and then there's like other things like I see a lot of people have like perfectionism, and I've had this too. I think for me, it's been like with the job. I'm I'm not gonna be happy unless I have this very specific job. And that's such like a fragile state to be in. Your joy, your fulfillment is determined on like a specific job that's offered by like a capitalistic money grabbing society. So it's like I really want to be this specific type of lawyer, and then like the job market's like we hate you. You're not gonna be able to do that, or like you're not even just smart enough or something, and you've just banked all of your happiness on that specific role in society. That's just such a bad position, and I've done that with the job thing. Not like that extreme, but I've always like pursue something like I got to get this job. It will like fulfill. You literally have that feeling where it's like it will fulfill. Once I'm there, I can chill, and I will not be anxious anymore. And it's like that's not even gonna work. That's a crazy way to go about it. If that's my opinion, that's what I was thinking about today. Where there's like job, where you live. I was talking about this with my sister. Like, what makes people miserable? I think what makes people miserable is themselves, for the most part. They blame it on other people, but like if other people can determine how miserable you are, then your life's gonna really suck. If another person can make it so that you aren't happy, how is your life going to work out? So, and you can move, and I would argue, and I was telling my sister about this, like you can move away from that person, or you can move away from a situation. And it's if it's in you, if it's just you that sucks, like you can't run from it. And this is a common theme in Christian spiritual writing, Catholic spiritual writing, I should say. So like this perfectionism was like the right place, the right job. Another thing, I see this a lot where people are like, "Oh, if you just give me like land and a farm and like some chickens, I'll be happy," or something like that. Especially nowadays, that's crazy. It's funny because that's like that was the regular thing for like 70% of the population in like the Middle Ages. But now it's like, just give me that and I'll be happy. I hear that a lot from men and women. And I've been about that too. I like the farm life, but it's if you base your whole like life and happiness on that. Do you know how much debt you have to get into to like get real farmland nowadays? It's kind of crazy. And I've seen people go and just do the debt thing, and I don't know if they're happy or not. I hope they're happy. But hopefully this like concept I'm getting at is kind of sinking in. It's like we have to be in like a worldly way, it would be like self-contained or I don't even know. We have to have a self-sustaining modus operandi or something. I was just thinking today, it's like, which is the amazing thing with God and prayer, because if God is your center and is your source of happiness, you'll be fine the whole time. In theory, there's no way someone can take away your joy, which obviously Jesus talks about in the Gospels. But if it's anything else, it can be taken away, and that's just a logically, rationally bad place to put yourself into. And I'm not saying it's going to be easy or anything like that, but that's what I was thinking about. And it seems to make sense, right? Tell me if it doesn't make sense. I'm so tired, hopefully not in a mean way. I'm so sad. I'll say I'm so sad to see so many people where they're so down all the time, and they're like down. They're like, oh, I want this, I need this, I want that, I need that, and then I'll be happy. They don't really say it in those exact words, but that's the vibe I get. And I'm like, why not just be happy now? Why not? Maybe happiness is not the right word. Maybe just be, why not be joyful now? Is it a choice? Kanye West, slavery is a choice. Is joy a choice? Is happiness a choice? That's what I was thinking about today. I feel like today is more of a fugazi. I gotta stop using that term. What's a better term for that? Fugazi. It's more of like a esoteric, fluid idea today for the podcast. But it's honestly what I was thinking about today. So I feel like I had to share. I'm trying to think of, I was thinking, there was other scenarios I was thinking of like, oh, the ways people think. Money. I know, I love talking about money. I love money. I love talking about money. But people, they'll do this thing. And I was talking with my mom about this the other day. Like with retirement. I think my sister was there. My sister was there too. Like people in retirement, they're like, I've seen this in my jobs that I've been in, where they're just talking about retirement the whole time. Like, once I retire, everything will be okay. But for the 40 years before that, it's going to be miserable. It's like, whoa, that's a crazy way to go about it, man. That's really crazy. I was kind of cracking myself up today, just thinking about these different ways that people think. And I challenge you to step back, maybe look at yourself. That's helped me. Like some of those things I mentioned is like literally how I thought. But also like think about the things that people are saying to you. Because I guarantee these things I'm saying is not just like a fantasy that I made up. You can see it like in everyday life. Even if you have social media, go on social media, the things people say, and just kind of sit with it for a few seconds and see how crazy it is. Another thing, I love boxing. I love MMA. I try not to watch it because it is a little addictive, which is kind of crazy. And it is brutal sometimes. It's like almost like the Coliseum is back. But I think about, kind of in a natural way, I think, men and women, they want to be really good at something. So like boxing, for example. But imagine like you would only be happy if you're the best boxer in the world. And I think in our society, we love that. We, like this person, they were so determined and they trained and they were like, I will not rest until I'm the best boxer. I'm the best water basket weaving person. I'm the best swimmer in the English Channel. All these things. And it's like, it's sad, I think, for in two ways I can see it, where it's like most people, 99.99% of people will not be that guaranteed, right? So that's crazy. So you're basing your like whole life's fulfillment on something that only 0.0001% of people are going to get, which, maybe is motivating. That's probably what people argue is like, that's what you got to do to stay motivated. But then also it's how many of these people are like, once they get there, number one boxer, and they're like, I get it. I'm fully satisfied. I've ascended to the shadow realm. They probably wouldn't go to the shadow realm. You probably go somewhere else if you're ascending. It's probably a descent. They feel like total chakra fulfillment or something. It's like, no way. I'm thinking of even people like Conor McGregor. I'm thinking of MMA right now. Conor McGregor, Tom Brady. Oh my goodness. I found out recently, this is going to be off topic. I found out recently that Tom Brady's ex-wife, that, they were married for a long time. I think they had multiple kids together, if I'm not mistaken. She was actually apparently cheating on him with her jujitsu instructor. I'm laughing. It's kind of sad, but if Tom Brady, this is getting off topic. If Tom Brady, the mega football star, Super Bowl man, pretty good looking guy, I'll say it. Questionable. No, he's a good looking guy, I think, objectively. Can get cheated on. Your girl is going. Nick Fuentes was right. Nick Fuentes was right. Anyway, but yeah, these ways of thinking, like for that, when you think of it that way, usually you look up to the athlete or like the president or, there's people in these high powered offices, famous people, actors. You look up to them, you're like, wow, I want to be like that. But then when you think of it in this way, I kind of almost feel bad for them. Like Leonardo DiCaprio, like he reached he was in Departed, he reached the top. He was incepting people in Inception. That sounds like a little weird, but he was in Inception. And it's like, where does he go? He's only getting fatter and uglier. And if he has his self-worth in being the best looking guy, being the best actor, it's like, he's been eclipsed. Like, I don't even see him anymore. I don't even hear of him. And there's going to be a younger actor, a better actor. So anyway, this might seem obvious, but this is just what I was vibing with. There was some more. I'll give it 2 seconds to think about the other ones, but you can think of them too. It's kind of crazy. And then think about how you're thinking. That would be my practical advice, is like, how am I thinking? For me, the big one was the job thing. And it creeps back up a lot into my life since I was probably in college, where it's like, it's all about the job. Once I get the job, once I get the specific job, and then it's like, you got the job and the job kind of sucks and it's not making you happy. And then you leave the job and then you do the same thing over again. It's like, why am I doing that? So I would really beg people, and this goes, for marriage. If you're not happy with yourself, how is adding a person that has their own flaws, has their own ideas of happiness, how is that going to help you? I think that's just going to make it worse. It's just going to aggravate the current issue. So yeah, that's what I got to say about it. What was another? There was some more. I can't think of them. If I think of them again, I might throw it on the podcast. So maybe a little weird today, maybe a little different, but that's what I was legit thinking about. So I got to share it. So let me know what you think. I would love, if you guys have different ways people think, I would love to hear it. I think it's kind of funny. It's kind of a cool thought experiment. If we just had a bunch of comments of like the different ways people think. One of the things that people think, there's 2 more. I just remembered them. I got to go with these. I got to say them. One was, people are always worried about their children, and which is which is good, but they're like, they order their whole life that their children can be like a Harvard doctor. And it's like, is that really what your kid needs? So what if you gear up your whole life to make sure your kid can be a Harvard doctor and they end up being like a drug addict in an alleyway? And you've focused your whole activity, your whole human existence for that. And they're just a human person. They have flaws and maybe they can let you down, but you just focus like Some people do like 20 years of their life. They're like, I'm going to work harder, work later, so my kid can go to Harvard. And it's like, your kid probably just wants to chill, bro. He just wants a father, a mother, you know. So that was one of them I was thinking about. What was the other one? I had two. Oh, people that want. So this is like I was thinking of communists and these people that dedicate their whole life to like the utopia on Earth, and it's like, what are the odds that you're going to be the one that makes utopia? Very small. Assuming it, you can make utopia, which I don't believe, but like assuming that was true is like very small. And then if you look at history, it's like even societies that have been like relatively stable, think of the Roman Empire, think of the Middle Ages, even think of now maybe America you consider, even though we've had some topsy-turvy stuff, but it's been relatively consistent. How long do those things last? So you're the guy, you're the communist that makes the utopia or whatever ideology you have. And then it's like you're gonna die and then someone's going to ruin your utopia. So it's like really not worth thinking about that much, you know? I'm not going to base my happiness on that. Yeah. So, I mean, I'm Catholic, so that goes with the territory. It's like I'm not living for this world, living for the next, and actually living for the next, all that it actually helps you live for this world and to make it better. But yeah, those are some of the ones. If you have any, I'm gonna tap out now. That's all I got. If you have any comment, let me know. That would be really cool. If you disagree with these, let me know too. But like, subscribe, comment, let me know what you think about the show. And God bless you. Have a good evening and God be with you. And I will see you, God willing, tomorrow. Good night.